series. This series is a series intended to help us nourish ourselves and fill our cups by giving us a space to dive deep within ourselves, within our root systems, within our inner standings and inner realms of ourselves. So that way we can receive and expand into the season of spring after taking this time to nourish ourselves, so that way we can plant seeds of intentions and desires and dreams and ideas that we have for the upcoming year. The theme of this expansion series will be on holding space for others, and this is building upon the last video that we did, the last session that we held, which was on holding space for self. So if you haven't already seen that one, I highly advise that you go check that video out, because in part, it's really difficult for us to hold space for others if we do not know how to hold space for ourselves. And each video in this series really builds upon and expands one another. So if this is your first time tuning in, definitely go back out and check out the last video and maybe even the first video, which was on nervous system regulation. And the way the expansions work is we start with a spring clean, which a spring clean is like a mental technique to like self-actualize and get stuff out of the mental body simply through being witnessed in a safe space and having it vacuumed out through like the witnessing of the words that are being spoken. The same way that when you actually spring clean your house and a garbage man comes and takes the trash from the curb, and you don't see your trash again, it's the same way with the spring clean. The point is just to move the energy out of your body by voicing it, not suppressing it, so that way it can move on and make way for your desires and manifestations to come to you with a bit more ease, which in this case would be spring cleaning on holding space for others. So then it would become easier for us to hold space for others, right? And the sessions will typically follow a similar format each time, give or take a little bit, depending on what I'm sensing the collective is asking for. And so they'll start with possibly a flower essence or some type of aromatherapy, and then intention setting sprays or anointing oils, and then there will be sound bowls. And then, and this is all after the spring clean that starts the whole thing. And then there will be a little bit of Reiki and hands-on energy healing, followed by tuning forks in the outermost part of the field, and then we will work back into the field with some grounding to close out at the end. And these will roughly take about an hour. However, if you do book a session with me in person or remotely, these are 90-minute sessions, and you should schedule aside 2 hours of time so we can get on the same page with consulting with one another and understanding what needs you have, so that I can create space and hold space to meet you with those needs. And with holding space, the theme of holding space, so when we're holding space for someone, we're holding space that is preferably a non-judgmental and safe environment, so we're able to watch our body language and how we're speaking, ensuring that there is empathy in our processing. But empathy doesn't mean like empathy where you overfeel and connect to them in that way. It's more so like having compassion with boundaries. So being able to understand and put yourself in the person's shoes and truly hold space and help them perhaps empathically process if you resonate with being an empath and having empathic abilities, helping someone process, but not holding on to it, not internalizing it, not making it your own. And then in order to even do that, you need to be able to hold space for yourself. So being able to be grounded and centered before even holding space for someone is really, really important, which centering, a lot of people use interchangeably between centering and grounding. Being grounded is like being really like solid in your roots and your root chakra, your feet, your bodily system, like a tree, like the shirt. However, being centered, the solar plexus, your inner sun, really to me translates as making sure that your nervous system is regulated, and through that nervous system regulation, then you're able, as you're holding space for someone, to help center someone else back into themselves. And when you're helping someone center, it's not about fixing, it's more so about emotional and energetic awareness and attunement to any given person or situation. And then based on discernment and wise judgment, you then implement action that is aligned with what is going on in your moment of holding space. And so with centering, it's like if you see this person just went through an emotional release and they had a really big ugly cry, you don't try to stop them from crying, you allow them to cry. But then when you sense into and realize like, oh, now is a good time to just like gently remind them to take a nice deep breath to like soothe their nervous system, or maybe just gently, if it's okay with them, if you know them, like put a hand on their shoulder, just being there in presence and solidarity, or remind them to self-soothe by gently like stroking their skin and signaling safety to the nervous system. Because the more safe the nervous system feels, the more centered a person becomes, the more clarity a person will have after going through one of their emotional storms, as waters cleanse and pour out of the person through tears or whatever it may be. So with that said, we will be beginning the session with a spring clean. And then also with the tuning forks, sometimes there's going to be moments where I get into a really sticky spot. And so if I tell you to take a discharge breath, it means to inhale through your nose, hold for a couple seconds, allowing things to accumulate. And then on the exhale, whoosh it all out through your feet to Mother Earth, setting the intention that the earth dragons are there to assist in transmuting any heavy, dense etheric energy that you were releasing and transmuting it into light to serve Mother Earth's highest good. As she supports you, you can then support her by working with energy in this way and working with the earth dragons in this way. The earth dragons are excellent for space holding. They are very attuned to Mother Earth, and it is one of their sole purposes to maintain that she is supported, she is secure, she is safe. And so they're fabulous for helping with psychic pollution and energetic cleanup, which is why I always utilize the earth dragons as allies when I'm space holding in my sessions, or even for myself. So hopefully that's helpful to some of y'all and resonates with some of y'all. So anywho though, if you do hear me say go ahead and take a discharge breath, it means in through your nose, out through your mouth. And then some of y'all might find that you fall asleep during the session. That's totally normal. These sessions are very layered, so it is advised that you revisit the sessions, because each time you go into it, you're going to energetically depattern an old, unhealthy neural or energetic neural pathway and bring in healthy new frequencies through the coherence of the tuning forks and the sound bowls and the intentions that we are setting. And with the tuning forks, that is what they do. They basically create a biofeedback loop where they are frequencies of the earth, of natural frequencies of order and creation that play. And when you play the fork, the body is listening, and the organizing intelligence of the body, if it hears the fork sound distorted, it's like, oh wow, like I sound distorted in this part of my energy field. Let me go ahead and auto-tune and self-tune. And then we keep moving forward in that way, helping the body self-tune. The energy that we're retrieving as we're in the outermost part of the field and coming back to the middle center of the body is then, that energy that we retrieve is then distributed into the correlating energy center that we are working with. And then the organizing intelligence of the body then distributes that retrieved energy to wherever the body sees as most beneficial at this time of you receiving the session. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and begin with a spring clean, which when we spring clean, we have a lovely volunteer here. He will be holding space for the spring clean. He will also be laying on the table as a surrogate, meaning his body will serve as surrogate for the viewer's body, or if multiple of you are watching this video together, maybe you're a couple that are doing this, he'll surrogate for anybody who is watching this. And then anytime you watch the video, it's like your energy plugs into this container, receives the energy, because this is powered by source consciousness, and the energy is unlimited, which is why you're able to return as many times as you need. And then I will be the facilitator running the energy. And so when he spring cleans, if you'd like to, you can pause the video and answer as you get the hang of it. Basically, it's going to be like, thank you, what do you have on holding space? And then a short, simple, concise answer. You never want to make it too complicated. So for example, thank you, what do you have on holding space? Nobody taught me how to hold space. Thank you, what do you have on holding space? Holding space is difficult when I am distracted. Thank you, what do you have on holding space? Everybody uses this word, holding space, and I don't know what it means. Thank you, what do you have on holding space? And so basically, you'll just keep getting everything out in the container so then it can be witnessed by source and vacuumed up, never to return again. And so if you feel like you need to pause and answer, you can pause and answer. Or if you just kind of want to watch the first time and have his answer suffice for your answers, that will do as well. He'll be answering on a more general collective level. Or if you find that you want to answer alongside as you get the hang of the spring clean, like watch the video once, this part, and then rewind it a little bit and then do the spring clean and then go forward in the session, that is fine as well. Everybody will have a different way of wanting to receive, and all ways are perfectly fine. And yeah, I think that covers everything. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the spring clean, and then we'll go into the rest, and I will guide you through the session as we proceed forward. Alright, so when you spring clean, you're always going to do so with a timer, and you don't ever want to spring clean longer than 15 minutes because then it puts you in thought cycles that just take away from the point of doing a spring clean. You'll get caught up in them again. So we're going to do 2 minutes and one pull on holding space, with the focus on holding space for others. However, for short, I'm going to say, thank you, what do you have on holding space? So just keep that in mind as we proceed forward with the spring clean. And we will try to speak loud enough that y'all can hear us from over here. Alright. Alright. Brother God Christopher, are you ready to begin your spring clean on holding space, with a focus on holding space for others, for a total of 2 minutes and one pull?
Yes.
Thank you. Starting timer, what do you have on holding space?
I find it difficult at times.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I find I get distracted easily.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
Sometimes I don't like doing it.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I am learning to not relate to everything when I'm holding space.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I'm learning that I don't need to relate to really anything when I'm holding space.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
Holding space is difficult.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
Holding space causes me to be present.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
It's hard to be present if I'm not centered.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
It's hard to hold space for others if I don't first hold space for myself.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
Holding space is about respecting boundaries.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
It is difficult at times to hold space when I'm feeling irritated and overwhelmed.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
Sometimes it's appropriate to say I don't have the mental capacity to hold space.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
It would be nice to offer somebody, hey, can I hold space for you right now?
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I realized that in the past, I did not really understand how to hold space.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I understand that in the present, I am learning how to hold space.
Thank you. What do you have on holding space?
I beat myself up sometimes when I don't hold space properly.
Thank you. In case you couldn't hear it, the timer went off. So this is where I'm going to ask him what he has on holding space with his first and final pull. A pull means this is just the final closing statement for your spring clean, so the subconscious knows to close up and wrap up with that portion of the container. Thank you. This is your first and only pull. What do you have on holding space?
I have let my ego get in the way of myself holding space at times.
Thank you. This concludes your spring clean on holding space. It has been an honor and a pleasure holding space for you. Would you like to close with the Trinity?
Yes.
So with the Trinity, when we go into spring cleans, we're going into some of the nitty gritty. So it's really essential to pull out and focus on what is working and what are the wins and what are the celebrations. So we close with a trinity, which is a brag, which means a celebration, a gratitude, which means something you're grateful for, and then a desire, which is something that you're hoping to manifest through this spring clean or just manifest in general. So go ahead and share your trinity, please.
I brag that I am getting better, or I brag that being vulnerable is becoming easier, and I am grateful for that, and I desire that I continue to see growth in myself, and I continue doing breath work.
Well bragged, beautiful gratitude, and so it shall be. You're something even better and better than your wildest dreams.
Thank you.
All right. So he's going to get situated on the table. And then we are going to work with flower essences today. So the flower that we will be working with is going to be a blend. So it's going to be a combination of the prickly pear flower essence, sunflower, and yarrow flower essence. So prickly pear is a cactus flower, which the cactus flowers I am very, very fond of because I am from the desert. And prickly pear is a wonderful one for instilling like a sense of resilience, especially like during hard times, and just like choosing to bloom even under like harsh condition and like harsh weather. Which this is great for like holding space because you're going to help someone else through having compassion with boundaries by holding space for them. Which if you look at a prickly pear, it's a cactus that is beautiful and does have compassion because it nourishes all kinds of life forms and it has these beautiful flowers, but it also has the boundaries. It has the prickles, right? It doesn't like over give and it doesn't like overextend itself. It has like a balance. And then sunflower is a magnificent flower that I'm very fond of as well, if you can't tell. And sunflower is a flower essence that has to do with balancing the masculine and feminine energies within a body. And it also has to do with the solar plexus in our inner sun and helping us be confident and in our power, which when it comes to holding space, you do need to be in your power. You do need to be centered within your inner sun. And you, like the sunflower, it is wise to like stand tall and have that confident like body language, like, yeah, I can do this, I can hold space for this person, or I can hold space for myself. But then the same way the sunflowers get a certain height, then they bow their heads to Mother Earth, right? They're very humble. They don't treat anyone as less than or inferior, nor do they act superior. In fact, sunflowers are very giving because they nourish all kinds of little life forms, right? And holding space is very nourishing and giving because in holding space for someone, you might think you're just making a difference in that moment, but it might create a ripple effect in the rest of their life. Or maybe you taught them how to hold space, or maybe that one moment creates a ripple effect where all kinds of really good things happen because you help someone center back into themselves simply through holding space from a place of non-judgment and safety, which is how the sunflowers are. And then yarrow is a fabulous flower essence. It is fabulous for clearing out psychic pollution and helping filter energies that like energetic bleed in or bleed out. So if like you're someone's like a bleeding heart and you just want to help everybody and then you find yourself drained because you're constantly giving your energy away, yarrow flower essence is fabulous for that. And it's also fabulous for the opposite, where it's like if you're in a super energetically polluted environment and like you're trying not to pick up everybody's stuff, yarrow will help staunch your energy field to ensure that people's energy doesn't bleed into your field. So combined, this is a really fabulous flower essence blend. I made this myself. We're going to go ahead and ingest it, and it'll be as if ingesting, like I will take it and our volunteer will take it, so like the feminine and the masculine. And in ingesting, it's as if you're receiving it and taking it because you are plugged into this energy field. And the way you work with flower essences is you ingest them under your tongue, and then it mixes with the water because they have a water base of your body, which we're made up of a very high percentage of water. And then in this way, then the tuning forks come in and the sound bowls come in, and water is like an amplifier when it comes to energy healing and sound. So then the flower essences are amplified in their ability to bring in the medicine of your soul that they do help in bringing in, and to further assist you in healing like your earthly body. And so we'll go ahead and give her a volunteer. And flower essences might make you emotional. They might not. If they make you emotional, it means you really needed the medicine of the essences. They can work rather quickly, or sometimes they take about a week of time to really start getting things flowing out. And these sessions might make you emotional as well for 24 to 48 hours. If so, just practice self-care, take naps, self-massage, go for walks. Definitely take a salt bath or put your feet in a salt tub or a salt shower scrub and help discharge and move things along. Salt really helps speed up, not that it's about speed, but it helps like make it a more comfortable process in the 24 to 48 hour period if it is a sticky process, because the whole way we heal is we have to feel to heal, so better out than in. So a lot of the stuff that comes out is because we retrieve that energy, brought it back, and now all this repressed icky stuff has to go bye-bye, so that way we can like integrate and maintain and sustain what we retrieved of ourselves. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start with a little bit of flower essence spray to set the aura, to open the aura, and then we will also start with Reiki around the head. This is also a spray that I made with a variety of essences. These change every time I make it, so I can't really tell you what's in it, I just know it feels good. I want to say orchid is one of the flowers, as well as yarrow and echinacea, but I'm not sure what else. Echinacea is fabulous for strengthening the immune system of your energy field, and then orchid is fabulous for like forgiveness and just like really cleansing and being graceful even amidst like chaos. Alright, let us begin. So now if you guys aren't already laying down, go ahead and lay down and get comfortable. For the intention, just set the intention that this session works for your highest and best good, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, in the non-physical and physical realms, through all directions of time and space, to assist in depatterning old, unhealthy patterns that get in the way of being able to healthily hold space for yourself or for another, so that way you may more easily and from the heart hold space for yourself and for others, and allow that to settle in and receive following setting that intention. We're also going to do a bit of energy work around the ears and the eyes, helping the senses become a bit more balanced and cleansed out. It's a lot easier to hold space for people if we're listening through ears or seeing through eyes that hold the frequencies of our soul in its most integrity filled form and essence, versus when we have like heavy shadow energies over our ears and our eyes getting in the way of us being able to hear and see and be a safe space for the person we're holding space for, or if we're holding space for ourselves, that get in the way of us being able to be nice to ourselves and hold space for ourselves. We're gonna kind of clean those little energy channels out a little bit, and then we'll go into the sound bowls. And you might hear me speak a bit of soul language, soul song, dragon tongue. If so, just allow yourself to receive the codes, allowing that to go into the spaces of your senses that are calling for these codes and frequencies. Yana tua mataya, yana tuaya, istakamaya tua matua, istakama, kama, istakama, yana tua mahua eta eta, ia tu huaya eta. Take a deep breath in through your nose, holding for a few seconds, and then discharging out through your feet. Now we're on the eyes. Helping move out little clouds of anger that might have dried the eyes and made it difficult to see clearly. Little clouds over the eyes that the eyes created to protect from them being harmed by what they're seeing in the reality in the past. Maybe people weren't always a safe space for you, and your eyes tried to self-preserve. Just gently moving some of this energy out, so that way in space holding, you're holding space from a place of the high heart and not from a wounded heart. Yana tuaya ya 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 tuaya ya ya, istakama 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 itumaya, una itamaya, una itamaya. Discharge in through your nose, out through your mouth and feet. How are you feeling? And now we're going to go to the sound bowls. First, we're going to do a little bit of Florida water to further cleanse and release and balance. This feels very much so a balancing act for the masculine and the feminine. I'm also going to put serpentine on the heart, which is a really wonderful stone for the heart chakra, but it also works with all of the chakras because it is associated with the kundalini energies, which run through the entire spine and chakra center when fully activated. We're going to work with honey calcite. I'm going to put those in the hands. Honey calcite is a very sweet, soft stone that just kind of helps brighten the energy field. Botswana agate, we're going to put on the third eye, helping dispel heavy energies around the third eye and helping ground and bring balance to the third eye, so we have that healthy inner vision to be able to hold space for others. And then a little piece of selenite around the crown chakra, helping cleanse the crown, our relationship with time, our relationship with the brain. Sometimes it's really hard to hold space if we're very distracted, which can be like mental energies. And then it's also helpful for cleansing the space, like our connection with source. And then we're also going to work with flower agate, which is a really wonderful grounding stone. And then we're going to work with a dragon stone. This is like I think it's called a spacious like mud bubble or something. It's from a really long time ago. It's a mud stone basically, but very earthy and grounding. And we're going to roll these down the arms to help move out any energies that the arms are holding onto that can get in the way of holding space. The arms store a lot of grief, so it's really important to ground grief out and open up the heart, because ideally we're holding space from an open heart. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose, holding for a few seconds, and then exhaling out through your feet. Good. We're going to do the other arm. And there's also a flower agate right here between the knees and the feet, helping bring that grounding. And when I'm done with the rolling, I'll put one down there. Just make sure you're breathing, relaxing, being present. What are you feeling in your body? Do you feel heaviness? Do you feel prickles? Do you feel softness? Do you feel like weeping? Just paying attention, not judging. In essence, holding space for yourself. And allowing things to flow through and just witnessing lovingly. Okay, right. So now we're going to go into the sound bowls, which today we will be working with the root chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, and the throat chakra. Got to be really grounded and in your center to hold space for others. And then you want to be able to be in your heart space and speak from the heart as well, so that when you speak, you're speaking from a place of the high heart and you're not necessarily trying to fix or relate. You're just speaking in a way that's truly authentic and aligned with the beauty of your soul and the love of your soul. And as these bowls play, just breathe them into your body, allowing them to go wherever they're most suited for at this time. ankles, it definitely felt sticky in the throat chakra, as if maybe when it comes to holding space, it's kind of difficult not knowing like what to say, being worried you're going to say the wrong words, being worried you're going to speak out of line, not necessarily trusting your ability to speak from the heart. And it felt really, really sticky in there. So just kind of ponder that, contemplate that, allow that to percolate and move as we continue on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check and see where the body wants us to begin with the tuning fork. So we're going to check the chakras starting at the ankles, going to the knees, and then the 7 main chakras, and seeing where the body wants us to enter, and then working with the soul star and earth star before we proceed into that portion of the energy field. Alright, so we're going to start on the right side of the heart. The heart has to do with love, it also has to do with grief. The heart also can get very clouded by anger and hate and bitterness and resentment. The right side of the body has to do with our masculine side of the body. It could have to do with like brothers, fathers, uncles, our own inner masculine, spouses, co-workers. You know your life at this point, so you'll know what comes up as we go through certain spaces. As we're in the outer part of the field, it's kind of like we're working through the rings of a tree, with the most outermost part being earlier in life, and the closer we get to the body being the more recent occurrences in life. And a quick note on the heart getting clouded. I know some people might not really feel comfortable saying, oh, saying like they've experienced hatred or something. And I know some people come from religious backgrounds where like if you were hateful, like it made you a sinner or you were less than. And hate is just a 90-second emotion that's part of the full range of emotions of the human experience. However, if it's not healthily processed, it does get blocked up and cloud our energy centers. And then other emotions can get clouded and built up on that as well. It's not a horrible emotion to have, for it's part of being human. Now, if you're constantly acting from a place of space, might be wise, or a space of hate, it might be wise to kind of look at that, like, where's this coming from? What part of me needs love, right? So just keep that in mind as we're working on the right side of the heart. So I'm going to be working with, I believe, the Schumann, well, it's the sonic slider fork. It is a weighted fork. You're not going to really hear it. However, it is part of the Schumann resonance and has to do with earth frequencies. And I find that this fork is like a very soothing fork for all kinds of people. And I suspect part of the reason it's so soothing is because it is earth frequency. Mother Earth is like one of the most like divine forms of support and safety that we can have, that holds space for us all the time, in the way that she holds space for our houses, our roads, the lands that we reside on, the lands that we hike on and explore. Like Mother Earth is like a supreme space holder, right? And so I feel that this work will be really good for this session. But first we're going to go into the Earth Star and ground, and then into the Soul Star. Are you awake? Alright, so the Earth Star you're not going to hear because it's a weighted fork, but just tune into your body. What do you feel? Do you feel stuff coming off of your legs? Do you feel like all kinds of things moving? Do you feel like a spot tighten and then loosen? What you got going on? As I'm in the Earth Star, I invite you to envision tree roots coming out of your left and right foot. You can envision this in your mind's eye, with your eyes open, however feels best to you. Envision those tree roots dropping all the way down, past the floor of the space that you're in, past the foundations of the city that you might be in, or past the foundations of the building that you might be in, dropping down into the system of trees and mycelium, underneath the cities, underneath the forest floors, underneath the desert lands, dropping down into Mother Earth's cave systems, into the tectonic plates, dropping all the way down to Mother Earth's core, into her root chakra, like a child connected to its mother with an umbilical cord, just drinking in that grounding energy as we are in this sacred and safe space here, expanding ourselves today. Move if you need to. My body definitely wants to move as things move. Breathe as needed, meaning take those discharge breaths we talked about at the beginning. Don't hold your breath because that would not be good. Stretch, yawn. Good. And now we're going to go into the soul star, which to me, I see this as like our connection with Father Sky, the Divine Father. I see the Earth Star as like Divine Mother, Mother Earth. And then our connection with Father Sky, it's also like our connection with like our point of origin as a soul and source. This one does have a sound. Just envision light cascading over your entire energy field. You have the Earth Star energies going from the bottom up, and then you have the Soul Star going from the top to the bottom, healthily distributing these different frequencies, bringing balance, creating safety in your energy field for yourself and for those that you are holding space for. Creating safety from times in the past where others might not have been the safest for you, and distortions in the field were created. Take a discharge breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. I'm going to do a little bit of weighted heart chakra tuning fork. We're going to place it on the stone, on the heart. Envisioning your heart as an emerald green wall of light, expanding like a star as it goes supernova and gets really, really big. Working with the energy of the heart to bring love to the entire energy field. Make sure you're discharging as we do this. There's some really heavy energies coming up. There's a bit of like panic, anxiety, fear, fight or flight, deer in the headlights. actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to work with the weighted heart chakra fork in the field first, and then we're going to switch over to the sonic slider. So you're not going to see me. I'm going to be on the outermost part of the field working my way in, but I will be talking and sharing as I sense things coming up. Also, make sure you have a glass of water on hand for after this, so that way you can hydrate and further move the energies along. Alright. So right away, the energy field feels very contracted and smaller than normal. Ideally, the field goes about 5 feet every direction of the body, and right now I'm maybe about 3 feet off of the body, which this can happen when we're constantly like in a fight or flight mode, freeze or fawn, where we feel like we constantly have to be on the run, on the go, where we're constantly defending our sense of safety, our sense of selves. It causes our heart to kind of withdraw and go inward because all this heavy shadow energy pulls inside, like trying to protect itself. So we'll see if we can kind of expand that a bit. Sounds really shrill right away. Makes me think of like a screaming baby. This could be like when you entered the world. Maybe your delivery was really startling. For a lot of babies, it is. You go from a nice, cozy little cave space to getting pushed through and compressed in a birth canal, or getting pulled out through the abdomen of the mother into bright fluorescent lights, which can be very jarring, very scary. Doesn't feel like the safest space. Good, now the energy's moving. And as I share these, just allow yourself to take what resonates and see what comes to mind. What memory comes to you? What age comes to you? What sensation comes to you? In psychology and science, being able to label things makes it easier for the body to move things out, and it makes it easier for the brain to process. So stick with the feelings and be present in the session with yourself. Go ahead and do a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Right now it feels like I'm in about age 3 to about 4. Feels kind of like lost, confused, kind of looking around for a parent but don't see a parent. And some of these memories, you might not even be able to remember. It's just simply sensations and information in the energy field coming up at this point in time to be retrieved and brought back. Some of y'all might have spent a lot of time in daycare or had really busy parents. Or maybe you were in and out of the foster care system. So not always in the safest spaces, not always having safe space held for you. And sometimes some of this stuff is difficult to go back into, so the body will fall asleep to receive the energy that it is calling in through being present for the session. So that way the shadow self doesn't try to get in the way. You're still in like elementary school, and it feels like being an outsider and wanting into a bigger group of kids and wanting to fit in, or maybe being in that bigger group of kids and feeling like an outsider as you're in that group, feeling left out, not feeling safe to be yourself, for fear of maybe getting picked on or getting kicked out of the group. Take a deep breath in, hold for a few seconds and discharge. Now we're working through what feels like a spot of fear of change. Feels like maybe switching grades or going from like elementary to middle school, maybe switching daycare, switching households, some type of transitionary change. Not feeling safe, feeling very scared. Taking this moment to just shine love onto that part of yourself through your awareness, with a hand on your heart maybe. Just feels like a really choppy ride early on in life. Bouncing around. Go, go, go. Because your parents are go, go, go maybe. Getting closer to the body. And the weighted forks don't always give a lot of information. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Right now it just feels like we're going through different phases of life with the frequency just bringing back what it is bringing back at this time. Bringing back as in depatterning energetic tangles, and bringing back those like little broken hearted pieces of you that got lost over time. Feeling a wave of tension and grief pass. Yeah, life has been hard. It definitely has. And you are seen by the universe in that. And you are safe in this space to be seen, to breathe, to rest, to cry, to rage, to yell. And now we're going into what's called the ancestral river. The ancestral river is going to be on both sides of the energy field, and this is a term I learned from the biofield founder and tuner Eileen McCusick. I have not taken her classes, however, I've listened to a lot of her videos and practiced on myself a lot. And the river gives a lot of information about each side of the lineage. Right now we're on the father's side of the lineage, and when we put these forks in the rivers and sit with the ancestors and their stories, which I'm hearing some of y'all are like cycle breakers and generational healers, so this is definitely going to be helpful for you in your calling. The forks bring coherence to the ancestral rivers. So in this case, we're sitting in the ancestral river of the father's side of the family, whether you know your father's story or don't. The records and data are in your energy field, and this fork is going to bring that coherence to those distorted spaces through the free will and engagement that you display today by showing up on the table. So maybe your dad's side of the lineage didn't have people be safe spaces for them, and so then they passed on like not being a safe space, right? Maybe they have their safety violated, their trust violated. Maybe they had some really big stuff that their heart was carrying that like they just had nowhere to turn in their lineage to share because it's a cycle that got passed on and on and on. And so here we are, every time we talk, we actualize. And as we actualize, it's like we're touching on through sound, through a sound frequency of voice, and through our unified like group energy, we're focusing on these spaces of love, and then we're bringing coherence into these spaces through intention. Feeling lots of grief, heavy heart. My lower back feels like heavy, especially on the right side, like the back side of the pelvis. And if you see me moving, it's because I'm moving the energy out. Feels like a really heavy, like brick. And then I see like a really burnt orange in that area of my body. So I'm just kind of gently moving it out, actualizing. It's really interesting because in metaphysics, like a lot of the stuff that I've studied with the mind-body connection, I can always tell stories that are going on in people's bodies. And so I think of these ancestors in this right pelvis, ache, lower back area. And the lower back has to do with like our relationship with money. Which if you look at like all of our grandfathers, they were all like known or said to be strong men that were very hardworking, which I'm not discounting that, discrediting that, but if you're a generational healer, you also know that there's like that toxic masculinity as well, right? And the toxic masculinity also has facets of scarcity woven into it, and so it's like scarcity and money, and then this like back of the pelvis, like heaviness, right? And as I talk about it, I can tell my pelvis is lightening. And so like moving out like that hard work in the ancestral river and scarcity patterns that cause like this energetic buildup in the body, in the energy field, and moving that along and putting in the frequency of the heart into this space so that if you are a man or if your children are men, the next of kin of the masculine lineage can function more so from a space of healthy masculinity and divine masculine embodiment, a space of, yes, hard work, but also weaving in play and pleasure and weaving in what it is to be a safe space for the women of the family as well, right? And so that's what we're doing as we're here in the ancestral river on the right side of the heart. Big wave of grief, an achiness in like the left hand. Feels like something's like letting go. Letting go of rocks gives me a visual of like people that have like been hazed or drowned and they have like rocks in their pockets and they drown in a lake. It feels like the letting go of the rocks and rising to the surface and being able to breathe again and not feel like we're drowning through, like drowning in like heartache. Which if we're drowning in heartache and if we're carrying ancestral heartache, it's really, really difficult to hold space for ourselves, let alone others, because the ancestors haven't really passed that along in the DNA. And it doesn't mean they're bad, it's the DNA, it's the stories, it's what we've incarnated into, right? And the lake visual makes me think of water, which water in metaphysics has to do with emotion and energy and the depths of the psyche. So we're freeing up those really ancestrally deep watery spaces, right? Take a deep breath in, hold for a couple seconds, and then exhale out through your feet with the loud and audible and do that 2 more times. So in through your nose. And what we're we're doing is we're resetting the vagus nerve and signaling safety to the nervous system. One more time, please. Good. And then we're coming out of the ancestral river. That was a lot. Oof. And now we're closer to the body, so this is going to be more like recent stuff. There's a sense of like indigestion and like eating feelings and heavy-hearted and finding hard to get into the heart space just because life seems to have so many things taking you away from being able to go into your heart space. Anxiety. Keep getting a picture of like the like front pocket on like a button-up shirt. Maybe some of y'all are like businessmen, or maybe it's like just feeling like life is all business and no pleasure. I don't know. Take that and make it yours. And now we're gonna slowly cross over with all this energy that we have retrieved and magnetized to the fork, and we're gonna drop it into the energy center of the heart chakra. Sweeping it in, kind of like when we sweep onto a dustpan. Sweeping in all that energy. Allowing the heart to receive and redistribute these newly retrieved energies that are pure, that are yours, that are now coherent, into the spaces of the body that would most benefit. Some of you all might get really hot right now. Some of you might have a huge wave of emotion pass. Some of you might get cold, you might twitch, might have muscles like ache and then release. Everyone's different. My body's extremely hot right now. My right knee is a bit twitchy, and my left hand is very spasmy, so all kinds of energies moving. Now what we're doing is we're bringing that energy from the center up to source consciousness in the present moment, helping kind of anchor us into these new frequencies of where we are at now. Good. One more. Go ahead and take a discharge breath. And do a little bit with the weighted root chakra tuning fork. What we're doing is creating motion and vibration in the body, helping ground into safety, and the newfound sense of safety in the body, of retrieving these energies. Helping ground into the newfound sense of safety that was input into the ancestral river. Also bringing a little bit of grounding energy to the kidney points on the heels. Kidneys get really depleted very easily, and since this is a winter series, kidneys and bones are the parts of the body in Chinese medicine that require extra care in the winter. They carry us throughout the whole year. Like everything sits on the bones of the body, and the kidneys are like the circulators of chi energy, and they not only are in charge of circulating joy, they end up when becoming out of balance circulating fear and congested with fear. So I'm bringing in safety through the root chakra right now, creating safety in your kidneys, which makes way for more joy, which also creates safety for you to be an excellent, non-judgmental, and safe space holder for yourself and for others. I'm going to do the bottom of the feet on the kidney points. Go ahead and discharge, please. discharge. Good. And then, where did I put the other fork? And then we're going to work with the sonic slider, just briefly on the outer part of the field, and then we're going to run it on the legs, helping create that safety in the lower half of the body, and possibly the arms. We'll see where we are guided. This is also weighted, so you won't hear a whole lot. This will just be a very brief sweep. We're going to sweep on the other side to bring balance to the body as well. Discharge. Ancestral river. Go ahead and discharge. Just feels like the ancestral river is drinking up this fork. Paying attention to what you're feeling in the body. I feel hot all over. Heat to me symbolizes taking in a lot of energy, which is good. It means there's that receptivity to receiving, right? We've made the space through actualizing and now we're receiving. Mixing it into the heart. Kind of like when you sweep and you go for that one final sweep to get everything into the dustpan. That is what we are doing. In this case, it would be the heart pan. Discharge. Good. Feeling kind of soupy and heavy with grief. Some of you might have a good cry or maybe be on a little bit of edge. If so, just realize it's related to this and make sure to hold space for yourself. To honor what comes up by journaling or a somatic practice or going for a walk or painting or whatever it is that helps you hold space for yourself. Now we're going to do a brief sweep on the left side of the heart, and then we'll begin to wrap up. And this is good. So the energy field has expanded by about a foot. So still a little constricted, but better than how we started. We'll check after we bring back this energy and see if it has expanded more. Discharge. Feel very like heavy-hearted over here, kind of depressed. We're in very heavy energy, so just keep breathing and discharging, helping move the energies along. Envision your heart as a lighthouse, beaconing to those little lost pieces that we are working with, calling them home, helping them untangle from patterns that are not aligned with the high heart. Good. Keep using your heart as a heart beacon, making way for this energy to be retrieved. Envision it being beautiful, bold, tall, magnificent lighthouse. Golden light is blinking, infused with just a little hint of emerald green and pink sparkles. Good. As you do that, the energy is moving with much more ease. Good. We're just gonna briefly skim the ancestral river. Coming back over the body and distributing those heart energies. They have made it safely through the storm to the lands that the lighthouse guided us to. Good. Make sure you're discharging, moving that energy along. This kind of energy alchemy requires presence and activity. So make sure you're breathing, sensing into your body. Good. Feels like a lightning, feels more balanced. Feels like the polarities have come into more harmony with one another. Good. Now I'm just going to do one run through with the sonic slider on the arms and legs. Soothing the body with this frequency. Good. Discharge. Fingers. Discharge. Discharge. Massaging the scalp with the slider. Discharge, allowing the brain to release. Oops, sorry. Relieving pressure from the head, relieving pressure in general. Good. Alright. I'm going to spray and then do a little bit of grounding. These essences will just help lighten the field, help everything settle. There's a bit of geranium in here as well, which is great for balancing. Also bring in a bit more Florida water. Good. And I'm going to put some cedar wood on my hand, and in doing this, as I ground, we'll also be working with the energies of cedar wood in the non-physical worlds. You can work with plants calling in these traits as you do this kind of work. Please take in 3 breaths. And as you breathe in the energies of cedarwood, it's as if you were receiving the aromatherapy and the grounding and relaxation that comes with breathing in the scent. And for those of y'all with allergies, this is a great way to still receive the healing benefits without having the allergic reaction. Good. bringing the green of the cedar as well as the brown and the wood of the cedar to the root and the heart chakra. Discharge. Good. 2 more times. In through your nose, hold out through your feet, out through your mouth. Alright, ground. So we're grounding. Connect back to those tree roots from the very beginning. Envision those tree roots drinking in the energy of Mother Earth. Drinking in like a straw, drawing up those energies through your feet, through your roots. The energies of the trees, of the flowers, of the bees, of the bushes, of the butterflies, of the mountains, of the rivers. Drinking in whatever earthly energy is of most benefit to help you ground. Pulling that energy up through the feet, through the shins, the calves, the thighs, the knees, through the groin, through the front of the pelvis, back of the pelvis, through the yoni, through the lingam, or in other words, through the vagina, through the penis. There's a lot of nervous system stuff in there, so it's really important to bring grounding energies in there because they are where your root chakra is. Packing those spaces with cedar wood, pine, juniper, evergreen, the banyan trees, crepe myrtle, jasmine. Moving if you feel called to. Really packing in your root with these healthy frequencies. Drinking in that energy up through your stomach and your organs, your ribs, your lungs, up through the tailbone, the lower back, middle back, upper back, the pecs, the breasts, the entirety of the shoulders and the rotator cuffs. Drinking in the energy of earth through the biceps, triceps, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, webbing of the fingers. Envisioning dirt particles falling out of the hand, out of the hands, going down to Mother Earth, being alchemized into light to serve Mother Earth's highest good. Anything that you're ready to let go of, that same dirt and sand releasing through your roots to Mother Earth to be alchemized with those lovely earth dragons. Drinking in the energy of earth through your neck, each of the little roots of your teeth, of your tongue, your jaw, your mouth, your sinuses, your ear canals, each ear, your eyes, left to right, each nostril. Drinking in that energy, exhaling anything that's ungrounding, that takes away from you being regulated and centered. Drinking in that energy into your brain, filling your brain with the medicine and the calm of the trees. Giving the trees permission to help root out and ground out any mental energies, any self-created thought forms, any inherited energies that take away from being calm and regulated. The trees are here to help ground that out. Filling your mind with the soothing song and sounds of happy little birds chirping in the trees in the morning. Rooting out those sounds of stress and alarms and panic bells. The trees continue to help, and Earth's energy comes out through your crown, going up, up, up to Father Sky, where she lovingly embraces Father Sky. And then Father Sky Drops down in through your crown like a lightning bolt, bringing in fresh energy, electrifying energy, energy of inspiration and cleansing, purification. And that lightning bolt of Father Sky energy mixed with the clouds and the sunlight drops into your eyes, your ears, the ear canals, each tooth, the enamel of your teeth, your jaw, your tongue. Father Sky goes through cleansing, strengthening, purifying, pushing out any energetic ickies. Going through the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, the fingers. As Father Sky goes through the fingers, steam releases through the hands, releasing that which has been held on to for too long, that has caused the hands and the arms to atrophy metaphysically. Father Sky's energy goes through the upper back, the pecs, the breasts, the chest, the heart cavity, the lungs, the ribs, the middle back, each vertebrae. Father Sky runs through the nervous system, cleansing the nervous system, strengthening the nervous system, signaling safety to the nervous system. Father Sky goes through the stomach and the organs within the stomach, tending to each one in their own unique way. Father Sky goes into the lower back, the back of the pelvis, the tailbone. Father Sky goes into the root chakra, the yoni, the lingam, vagina, penis, all the nerves in those areas within the root chakra. Father Sky goes through the thighs, the glutes, the knees, the shins, the calves. And as Father Sky does, steam comes out of your pores, out of your body, just releasing peacefully that which no longer is aligned, that which no longer serves. Making space for the healing work that we have done today, the energy alchemy that we have woven together. Father Sky goes through the shins, the calves, the ankles, the feet, the toes, the kidney points, energizing the kidneys and the bones. And as Father Sky is working through the body, I invite you to picture each of your bones lighting up with the energy of Father Sky. And as they light up, envision them each also having little particles of like sand symbolizing Mother Earth, bringing that grounding, nourishing energy to the bones, soil, leaves, seeds, sustenance, sap to the bones, along with Father Sky's light, really nourishing the bones, and then really focusing on nourishing the kidney points as well. Father Sky's energy with Mother Earth really take care of your skeletal system, helping you receive a really bone deep reset and rest and breath of fresh air. Father Sky and Mother Earth hold space for you in this container, lovingly tending to each bit of your bones, the marrow, the cells. They work with the sovereignty of your soul to light up the bones and ground the bones and nourish them and feed them, fuel them. Father Sky goes through the feet, through the shins, the toes, the ankles, the heels, the calves. Father Sky comes out through the feet, going all the way down, down to Mother Earth, where Father Sky lovingly embraces Mother Earth. And there, Father Sky and Mother Earth hold you, their dear child, swaddled in their eternal love. And we set the intention that here you rest, swaddled in the love and protection and strength and unity and light and healing energies of Mother Earth and Father Sky for the next 24 hours. And in this way, you integrate what you have received today, knowing that you are grounded and safe, cocooned in light, cocooned in love, cocooned in all that is. Taking a deep breath in through your nose for a count of 7. Hold through your nose for 7. Hold for 2. And return to normal breathing. Now slowly come back into your body, stretch, wiggle, do whatever you need. Allowing yourself to make space and more fully integrate what was received today. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in today. Use this session as many times as you would like. Feel free to forward it to anybody that you think would benefit from this kind of alchemy work. And we will see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in to the Winter Alchemy series. It has been a true honor and a pleasure. From my heart to yours.